Okay, so there are two main methods that most people go through to get into medicine. The first one is the undergraduate pathway, which used to be called the UMAT, but I think is called the MCAT now. And that's open to anyone who doesn't have a degree. So most of the people that sit there are Year 12 students, or people fresh out of Year 12, or people who've just started a degree but aren't eligible for the GAMSAT yet. The rest of you who have a degree will be sitting the GAMSAT. So that's the main one I'm going to be talking about today, what it costs, who's eligible, and what it is if you're confused about what it is. So this is just an introductory video for you newbies, so let's get into it. So just as a side note, I'm a second year medical student who got in through the postgraduate pathway. So I sat the GAMSAT, so I know a little bit about how it works and what you have to do to get in. So first off is eligibility. Now the GAMSAT's open to pretty much anyone who has a degree. It's not specific to science or medical related degrees, it can be anything, and I'm not too sure about international students and their degrees, but I think you have to go through a process where it's recognised, and the one I have in my notes is called the National Office of Overseas Skills Recognition, which I think is some sort of governing body in Australia. So you probably need to go through that before you sit the GAMSAT. And you can sit the GAMSAT an unlimited amount of times. When me and my friends were going through that process, some were saying, 3 is like the magic number that most people get in with. Some people can obviously sit as many as 5 or 6 times. Some people can get in on their first try, which I was on the latter category. But the GAMSAT is important, but it's not the only score that they consider. I've just put up a link, I think somewhere up here, of a video talking about how you actually ranked when you apply for medicine, and it's a few other things that are involved, but we're just going to focus on the GAMSAT. And it costs about $500. So it's pretty steep. So I recommend you plan to save up to it if you're working, or ask your parents really nicely. I asked my parents and they helped me out, which was good. And even though I only sat it once, I got a lot of speeding tickets in my last year, so all the savings I made from only sitting it once were just wasted anyway. So I was still broke, but just bear in mind, if you have to sit it 2 or 3 times, the cost can add up. So the GAMSAT exam is held twice a year, March and September every year, and usually the date changes around a bit depending on the circumstances. I know last year a lot of people were messed around because of COVID, so I think they trialed an online version of the GAMSAT for the first time ever with some eye tracking software called Proctor, and that had some mixed results. So hopefully for you guys this year, if you're applying in 2021, it's back in person, because it's easier, to prepare for it and organize for it, because it's already stressful enough. And once you sit it, your score is valid for 2 years. So let's say you sat it in March 2018. Your score is going to be okay to apply with in 2019 if you're happy with the score. And if you decide to sit it in September 2018, you can use that score to apply in 2019 and 2020. So it's 2 years from the day you took the test. You can use that score. Now the testing centers can be accessed through the ACER website, which I've linked in the description, and that's the same website where you use to sign up and make an account and pay for the GAMSAT. Just a word of warning as well, because this happened to one of my friends, make sure you know the due dates and make sure you sign up for it before everything closes. One of my friends, he spent the whole summer preparing for the GAMSAT, and he went to print his ticket out the week before the exam, and guess what? He didn't sign up. So, word of warning, make sure you sign up for it. And that goes with everything. Be paranoid about it. Triple check everything. I was checking like a year before anything was due, making sure I had all the dates down. And the test itself is about 6 hours long. That's not including breaks, so it's a very long day. I remember after the exam finished, I was just sitting outside like for half an hour to readjust my eyes, because all I could see was like white pages everywhere. But that's how it is. And there's 3 sections, each of which is allotted a specific amount of time. So section 1 and 2 make up 3 hours. I think section 1 is 2 hours, and that's the humanities and comprehension /section/poetry section, which I sucked at. And section 2 takes an hour, which is where you have to write 2 essays, which I was good at. And then section 3, after the lunch break, is the last 3-hour block, and that's where all the sciences are there to melt the last brain cells you have left. Now snacks, I think you can take lollies in a clear bag and a bottle of water, but don't drink too much water, because then you have to pee like at the worst time possible when you're trying to figure something out, which is, you know, only distraction when you're laser focused on what you're trying to do. But yeah, I think that's all the basics that you need to know about the GAMSAT. So that's my quick intro newbie guide to the GAMSAT if you're contemplating it. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. But yeah, other than that, have a great day. I know it's a confusing process. The only reason I can talk about it comfortably and I knew about it was because I had so many of my friends that were thinking about doing the GAMSAT or had done the GAMSAT, and I was in that medical degree where, you know, most of the people were trying to get into medicine. If you're outside of that sphere, it can be a bit confusing, so hopefully this helps. But yeah, that's it. This is Share.